Taking you down to Deep East Texas for a second look here. What started as a passion for barbecue has grown into one of East Texas's favorite destinations for great food. And tonight we're talking about the journey behind the smoke and what it kind of takes to build a successful business. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Brendyn, welcome in here to East Texas tonight. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you. It's an honor. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get to know you a little bit. Let's kind of just get kind of a little background on your career. Before barbecue became your career, what did your path look like?
After graduating college, I love the restaurant industry. And I love to tell people that I always knew I wanted to own a restaurant, but I fell in love with the Chick-fil-A corporate structure so much. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work for Chick-fil-A. I loved getting to travel to different stores and helping them before they got a new operator. And I loved our store so much in Nacogdoches that I just decided, you know what, I'm going to own a Chick-fil-A somewhere one day. And then I went and visited a famous barbecue joint, and it just changed everything. And so we just pivoted, and I tell people what started as an unhealthy obsession, we turned it into a healthy obsession whenever it started paying me instead of me just paying to do it. So,
that's really cool. Yeah. Okay, well, let's kind of get into how barbecue became more than just a hobby. Because for me, if I cook barbecue chicken, it's, every once in a while. Or if I, make a barbecue dinner, it's every once in a while.
Yeah.
How did it become like a daily hobby for you to get into this business?
Yeah, I just loved cooking. And eventually, I can only cook so much barbecue, and then all of a sudden there's nobody to eat it but me and the wife, and so that had to change.
Lots of leftovers.
Yeah, lots of leftovers. And so with my background with Chick-fil-A, just with doing catering on that side, I just started doing it with barbecue. And I found myself catering practically a wedding every weekend.
That's awesome.
And then that required making it official and getting a huge food truck. And that became so dependent just doing catering out of a food truck. And then Nacogdoches was changing their food truck laws, which would then allow me to essentially pop that window open and do it every day. And that was the huge opportunity.
So, that decision to take it from a side business to doing it full time, was that a hard decision?
It was very hard to go from a job that was well structured, very well established, and gave me a lot of security. I was as high up as I could go at my Chick-fil-A without actually owning it. And then to give that up and say, hey, I'm just going to start over and do my own thing was significantly scary. But I think what gave me all the comfort and the confidence is that with all the catering I was doing in Nacogdoches, I had already established a lot of clientele and a demand for Brendyn's barbecue, to say. And so that faith of, all right, there's enough people here if I opened in January, which I did on a cold, rainy day. Those people were lined up with umbrellas selling me out practically every day.
So what do you think makes great barbecue?
Time. Yeah.
Precision and time?
Precision's a great word. That was our secret word last year. I think with barbecue, a lot of people think there's a secret rub and there's this fun culture of a secret sauce, but it's really just labor and willing to do the work. I tell people we're old school. Like the secret to good barbecue is a shovel and wood and fire and salt and pepper. And that's really just kind of the base of what we do. It's just willing to be next to a hot fire and shovel the coals and touch a brisket and know if it's not ready yet or if it is ready to go.
Well, a little bit of old school in the mix. Let's talk about your favorite item on the menu and why. You got to tell me why. There's always a why behind it.
Yes. Brisket's king in Texas, and I stick to that. What's special about our brisket? I just told you it's salt and pepper, but if there is a secret ingredient, here it is. It's going to be coffee. So
really?
Our coffee is half of the rub, so the other half is just salt and pepper. That coffee is roasted locally by Java Jacks for us. It is Brendyn's Blend, and it's labeled, and we even sell our own coffee thanks to them. So the coffee that is the majority of the flavor of that brisket is so exceptional to Nacogdoches that you can't get it anywhere except at Brendyn's Barbecue.
That's really cool. You do realize that you're in a newsroom and you just said coffee?
Yeah. Y'all live on it?
We like coffee.
We eat it as opposed to drinking it.
So when you said coffee, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like you piqued my interest there for a minute. That's interesting. I've never heard about barbecue with coffee.
It's smoke and smoke. It pairs perfectly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about running a barbecue restaurant. What's one thing that people don't really know about running a barbecue restaurant?
I think a lot of restaurants, people want to start a restaurant because they're really good at cooking, and that's honestly like the smallest part of owning a restaurant. It is managing money. It
Yeah.
is managing employees, it's managing customers, it's knowing what to do. You know, when I've sold that brisket and I have, where does that money go? And is it going to the employees correctly? Is it going to my food costs? So managing everything you've done after the cooking is significantly more important.
All right. Well, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. We
Yeah.
found out a few fun facts about you through Jeff Autry, who's
Yeah.
one of our managers here, but he knows you a little bit and mentioned a few fun facts. We know that you spent several years working at Chick-fil-A before opening Brendyn's Barbecue. What's one thing that you really enjoyed about working at Chick-fil-A?
I think everybody says the work atmosphere, but Chick-fil-A is really good at bringing a culture
Okay.
into the job, and that's something that I have definitely carried. Chick-fil-A cares about their employees, and they show that just through interaction on a daily basis. Whenever I've gone to corporate in Atlanta, those corporate employees would thank us all, practically giving us hugs, thanking the employee at the register. You know, it's because of that employee at the register that person in corporate office has a job, and they know that connection. So corporate taught me the value of culture and community.
That's really cool. So would you say that the things that you learned at Chick-fil-A you brought into your business today?
100%. My main job at Chick-fil-A was learning the labor costs and food costs. It was actually my worst skill. If I was ever asked what's your weakness in an interview, the one that would not get me hired would be that I am terrible at managing the numbers. But because that was my weakness, I had to dive into it if I wanted it to be my own thing. And it became the thing I love. It's now like my greatest strength. Learning the numbers and the percentages that's where I have a lot of fun in
That's
doing
awesome.
the business. Yeah.
Well, I think that a lot of people learn when they go down, a multitude of paths before they get to where they're at now. And obviously you have as well. And you've learned
Yeah.
so much along the way there. What's been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned so far?
What I love about my job today, and it's changed, I used to be Brendyn, the pitmaster at Brendyn's Barbecue, and I've built my business around being a husband and a father. And in order for me to keep that part of my life, which is more important, I had to delegate and teach people. And that's been my biggest lesson, is investing in my team. I tell people, people love to come to the restaurant and say, who's the pitmaster? And I say, we all are. It takes us 18 hours to cook a brisket. So investing in team members and teaching them something that they can use as a skill. And going back to like my favorite job today is being in Nacogdoches. It's a college town, and I get a ton of college students that end up working for me. And it's really special because I get to have them for about 4 or 5 years if they
Yeah.
stick it out and get a degree.
Well, they're also young too, so you get to
Yeah.
share,
Yes.
tidbits of, some young adult
Yes.
advice too
Yeah.
to them.
I get to be a part of their life and give them some knowledge, what little or what lot I have. And my goal is that when that employee graduates college and goes and gets a dream job as I have done, that they'll look back and say, man, my time at Brendyn's was a good time. It was healthy. It wasn't just a job, but I was cared for, I got paid, and it made college life just that much better.
That's really cool. So would you say perhaps that's one of the most special things that is about Brendyn's as well? So it's like it's family oriented and very well caring.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to not do this and come work at Brendyn's Barbecue, if you could be a fly on the wall in the back, you would see employees when they clock out, we say, I love you. And,
Oh, that's cool.
and new employees are like that. Okay, yeah, I love you too. It's awkward. And then after like 3 months, it is a genuine I love you. All my employees say I love you when they're clocking out. And that's just a tight-knit culture. And I find out they hang out all the time without me. I'm just too old now. But it is cool that my employees are like having life together and value, and it's great.
Well, speaking of some fun things, even though your employees have fun, I know that there might be some funny stories that you have. So let's talk about some funny stories that might have happened at Brendyn's Barbecue. What's one of the top stories that has happened?
Did Jeff give you a hint of one?
No, he did
All right.
not, but I have to ask.
All right, here it comes.
Okay.
The year is 2020.
All right.
I step away from the cutting block for maybe a minute. It's SFA Parents Weekend, so
Oh, boy.
there's not a seat in the house. The line is out the door, and I'm just stepping away to tell the wife, hey, I'm not coming home anytime soon. Like, we are busy. In that moment of me stepping away, everybody's screaming, top of their lungs, Brendyn, hurry. And I come, and there is a naked guy running out of the restaurant, swinging at people. And it happened so fast, but I have to take that in really quick that there is a butt naked man in my restaurant pushing people out the way and stealing a drink. So I only know to chase him. I don't know what I'm going to do if I catch him, kind of like a dog chasing a mailman kind of thing. So he gets out the door, and thankfully, as he's getting out the door and I'm locking it behind me, the cops are pulling in. So thankfully, they've already gotten the call. And they step out and they say, "What are you doing?" And he throws his hands up and he says, "I'm stealing." And I'm just thinking, well, okay, well, cops are here, but I'm going to stand behind this guy and lock the door and not let him back inside. And he just took the wrong drug, I guess. And
I wouldn't say that's a funny story. I'd say that's more of a crazy story, guys.
well, it's stressful in the moment, funny now. I have a good habit of turning bad things into just fun things. So we made a shirt out of it.
That's a really great habit to have.
It was election year, and so we had Naked Guy 2020 as if you could vote for him. And he sold a drink that was worth maybe $2.50, and I sold about 60 shirts in a day. It was just a guy with my logo covering the spot that you don't want to see, and holding a drink, and cop cars behind him. It was great. It was when I messaged the art guy, "Hey, I need this on a shirt." He just said, "Okay, ... Didn't even ask questions. He just made a shirt. But it's so funny today.
So, do you get special training, or how did you train yourself to know what to do in that moment?
Just instinct.
That
There
was
was
just,
no
that was
training.
just an on-the-fly job
It
right
was
there?
just get them out and protect the people inside and do what I can.
My God, I don't think that I would probably be in utter shock. Like, just take the drink and leave.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
The cop asked. He said, "Do you want to press charges?" I said, "No. I just want them gone. Just go arrest them across the street. Y'all are taking too long."
Be like, there's too many people waiting inside
He's
to
way
order.
too naked to be asking him questions right now. Just get him out of here.
Okay, all right. Well, moving on here, let's talk about how talented you are outside of work. Let's talk about the guitar, because I
Okay.
heard that you might be a talented guitar player. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I just like to play guitar.
Okay.
I would never say I'm talented, but I do play guitar.
You still get a chance to play, like if you wanted to, and what do you enjoy doing kind of when you're not at the restaurant?
So I love serving in my church. I play guitar there every Sunday. I've been playing guitar since I was 7, so I'm good at guitar. There's always somebody better, so it's hard for me to say I'm amazing at it. But I do love playing guitar. I love riding motorcycles a lot. No matter
Nice.
how hot or cold it is, I love motorcycles. That's my freedom.
Okay. Did you, grow up riding motorcycles?
Yeah,
Or
dirt bikes here and there.
Yeah?
And then,
do you ever get scared? I feel like I would get scared.
honestly, I think the scare is kind of what keeps me, I think it's what makes you feel alive. Like,
Do you
I'm on a motorcycle. There's no seatbelt.
Yeah, but here's the deal. It's like when I'm driving my car and I see a motorcycle come by, I like tense up because I'm just like,
Good.
all right, please don't come near me. I mean, like they just,
Yeah.
weave in and out of. Is it the same way for motorcyclists with vehicles?
I would argue, I've told my wife this, that I think me being on a motorcycle makes me safer than my truck because I am more aware when I'm on a motorcycle as opposed to the comfort of a
I can
cabin.
see that.
Like, I borderline count the stripes on the road when I'm on a motorcycle. When I'm on a motorcycle, I always know what car's behind me. I always position it in a way if I have to bail at a red light
Yeah.
and jump out, I do. But no, it's the freedom of the air.
That's awesome.
But I think owning a restaurant comes with its own stresses, and so getting on a motorcycle, on an iron horse, as they say, and getting to just go in the beautiful backwoods of East Texas, it's just therapy.
That's awesome. All right, now on to a more personal side. Let's talk a little bit more about your family because I know you briefly mentioned them. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay. I have 3 boys. My oldest one is Levi. My second one is Jackson. And my youngest one has several names.
Okay.
His name is Connor Redding. We call him Red. He is a Tasmanian devil. He keeps us all. He is our cup of coffee.
Okay,
every
all right,
morning.
right
Yeah.
on. It's okay. I was my parents' cup of coffee too.
Yeah.
Mainly, we're gonna say cup of coffee on the show. I was the Tasmanian devil for my kids, or not my kids, my parents.
Yeah,
I
sure.
was one of 2 that was that way, and
Yeah.
every morning I probably made them want to go back to bed.
Yeah, he is the reason bedtime gets shorter and shorter every
Yeah,
day.
I,
Bedtime's
I
at
know.
5 o'clock now. It's
My
time to go
my
to bed.
parents are waiting for me to have a little bit of payback as I grow up.
Uh-huh.
They're waiting for that.
I get that from my mom now.
Yeah.
It's like when you have kids, you deal with who you were as a child, and
Mhm.
that's very true.
Yeah.
My boys have every part of
Can't
me.
wait.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, they go from 8, 6, and 3, and then happily married to my family we'll be going on 12 years coming up in March.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that's really great. So you kind of mentioned that you play guitar at church.
Mhm.
Do you go to church in Nacogdoches, or do you usually travel
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it?
no. We go to church. It's called Fredonia Hill.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
awesome.
we're there on
That's really
South Street.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right,
Yeah.
well, on to more of things outside of work. Is there anything else that you like to do besides riding motorcycles, playing the guitar, or working at Brendyn's?
I love going to ride roller coasters.
Really?
I guess
That's
if
random.
you pin me against the wall, like I tell people Universal Studios is like my heaven on earth. So I go
Really?
there as much as I can.
That's awesome.
I have a good habit of making it at least once a year. So we just got back from Florida. We drugged the kids there to see what Daddy loves, and so we were there for 8 days at the parks, and
That's
probably
awesome.
longer than most people, but for us it was much needed.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I feel like everybody needs a vacation every now and then,
Yeah.
especially when work gets going, like, Parents' Weekend,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
school's about to start back up too. So,
Yeah,
are you ready for that?
Thank God, and then sad about it at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I do hope everything goes well. Let's talk about the future here.
Yeah.
What's next for Brendyn's Barbecue?
So I don't rush into a next location. I think this one keeps me busy. As I've said, like everything I do is for my wife and children. So sometimes I'm coaching a soccer team. Sometimes I'm at a baseball game. That's hard to do with 2 locations. So the one Brendyn's Barbecue location keeps us so busy, but it does so well for us where I can still be, try my best to be a super dad and a super husband. So I answer that question with what's the next thing. I would love to expand Brendyn's Barbecue into a bigger location, hopefully in the next 3 years. I love being downtown Nacogdoches, but gosh, we are lying out the door. Some people will wait 40 minutes for our barbecue, and I'm so thankful for that. But in Texas, that gets really hot. So I would love,
Especially in triple digits, Brendyn. You're not
yes,
wrong.
like today, I would just love a bigger location where everybody can just be there in comfort. And so I have no plans to make a second location until my boys grow up. And if they decide, hey, Daddy, I want to do this, then we'll start that process, and they'll be my partner.
Yeah.
At Brendyn's Barbecue, I have no partner. I am Brendyn at Brendyn's, and that's it. I am corporate.
You're the only one.
HR, everything. So if they grow up and they want to do barbecue, we'll get a second location.
That's
If they don't
awesome.
want to, maybe a grandkid. If not, when I'm ready to retire, let the whole thing go.
Well, you got a long road
I'm
until
done.
you get to that point,
That's right.
anyways.
I'm not rushing to get there.
All right, well, let's go ahead and finish this off. Obviously, you've built a successful business that takes a lot of passion, perseverance, and a lot of hard work. So thank you so much for joining us
course.
here on East Texas Tonight. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
Just that, go support your local business. There are restaurants everywhere. We're a mom and pop, and I gave this big speech at our birthday bash. We have a birthday bash every year at the restaurant, and it's our
Yeah.
biggest day of the year. But I tell people, like, when you go and spend your hard-earned money at a mom and pop shop, you're allowing them to take care of their wife and kids or whatever family they have. And then you're also, like in my store, like we have college students. So when you come and spend your hard-earned money, you're taking care of them and their time in life so they can take care of themselves and get through college. So go support your local business.